welcome back to another episode of Double Down Outdoors TV. I'm your host, Ryan Tomuschat. I'm currently standing next to the biggest bear I have ever harvested with my bow, and we have got one heck of an exciting episode for you. Double Down Outdoors is brought to you by Victory Archery, Raconico Outdoors, Tooth of the Arrow Broadheads, Bow Spider, Slayer Calls, Grizz Targets and Archery, Painted Arrow Outdoors, ADI Hunts, Scorpion Outdoors, and Coulee Creek Taxidermy. So, as I'm sure you can probably hear, we've got a little bit of wind today. And that's not a terrible thing because it's going to push that scent through the trees a little bit further, especially this little bare bomb of anise oil. The only thing that sucks is that it's blowing directly from behind me into the bait, so my scent is going to carry. But luckily at High Ridge, I have somewhat of a blind set up with a back and a front. So that might be able to dampen my scent a little bit. Don't think I'm forgetting anything. I guess we'll find out once we get in there. All right, well, it's time. First sit of the year, and we've only had one bear on cam, so I'm not too crazy worried, obviously, but I do have a little bit of hope. There's a little bit of a spark there, because, I mean, like any kind of hunt, you never know what's going to happen, but we're set up 20 yards from the barrel right now in this makeshift box blind. It's better than the piece of burlap material that I had at this bait for the last 3 years. outside. But once you get to sitting for longer than an hour at a time, it actually starts to get a little bit chilly. So once again, this is an annual thing for me. I underdressed for the occasion. I mean, with that wind, I got all kinds of branches and stuff cracking around me. You obviously can't hear it through this mic, but I'm always looking over my shoulder. Oh, I love bear hunting. I know exactly what bear that was. That was a bongo. I've been chasing that bear for 3 seasons. He's a smart bear. A very smart bear.
Okay, so I just got to this spot. I'm just gonna double check on the Reconoco cell cams app here. Make sure there's no bears on the bait while I'm walking in, because I've had that happen so many times. And at least this way I know what I'm walking into. And it's looking like we are good. Just a lot of birds. Yeah. Okay.
I don't like sketchy tree stand setups, but I did it to myself. And there's been a bear up here. We're set up at a bait that I call High Ridge, and I've had a lot of fun on this bait over the years. This is a 4th year bait now. I've hunted here enough to know that there's a main trail that comes in that we use when we're setting up the baits because it's a little wider and we can get the machines a little bit closer to the bait site when we want to set up our baits, right? But a lot of the time when we're actually hunting here, the bears tend to walk that trail in, and it's just to my left. If I were a betting man, that's where I'd say that bear is going to walk out tonight. I've had bears come in from all directions, but the game changer here on my 3rd sit is that I've never had a tree stand on this bait before. I've always hunted off the ground behind a big piece of burlap, camo, or we had a little ground blind that we set up here, but it just didn't seem to work because the first time that the big bear actually came in, the big bear I call Bongo, he was super hesitant because of that box blind on the ground. So I'm doing everything in my power here to try and finally put the hammer down on this bear, and I think the tree stand is going to be the game changer here, being elevated, giving him, something that he's not used to and hasn't seen before. Now, after I set the tree stand up and went home, you can see in the cell cam pictures when he came into the bait, he looked right up at the tree stand, so he knows it's here, but he's not used to it. He's used to guys sitting on the ground, not 20 feet up in a tree. And I don't know if you can see that well, but my back cover is not great because this is just a giant stand of poplar trees. For the most part, this is kind of skeleton crew. We keep waiting. It never really gets old. I could just see the camera in the tree just swinging back and forth. It's just been a really windy spring. Hasn't been ideal. But we'll keep on waiting. I should have packed a lunch or something. I think I'm worse than the bears for this appetite. I kind of look like a bear right now.
a little scruffy. But that's usually how I get when it comes to hunting season. Keep on waiting. Sit back and enjoy the ravens.
Yes. Third sit. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. I don't normally get that excited. This is the third sit of the year. What a way to kick off 2024.
Okay, well, I just got back to my truck and I just recovered a little souvenir here. I know it looks like a good chunk of the arrow, but it's really not. I shoot 31-inch arrows, so I mean, you look at this, broke off while he was running through the trees. I didn't get full penetration on him, but I mean, blood splatter. I don't know how well you can see it, but we got blood splatter right up to the VAP SS writing there. Next step is to go and look for this brute, but I'm waiting on a few guys to get here because I don't want to go in after a bear alone when it's a little bit dark like this. I don't know why I said a little bit. It's pitch black outside right now, and that's not really my jam. So wait for the boys to show up, and ladies and gentlemen, we got our 2024 black bear.
You'd have seen me coming from a long ways back.
Yeah, I know.
But I'll have to turn them off once I get close because it literally blinds me.
Well, I can't wait to see that. You made her.
Yeah. So what do you think, buddy?
Well,
The moose caboose is all ready to go get your bear, man.
all right, so I got my Uncle Dennis here. This guy has been with me for some of the craziest hunts and best
Yeah.
moments of my hunting career. So of course he's the first guy I called to come and help me recover this big black bear that I just got down. Well, I shouldn't say just down, he's been dead for the better part of 3.5 hours now. Well guys, this hunt has been one for the books. I was not expecting things to go this fast and this great with a bear that I 100% know now I have a history with. This bear here is Bongo. You probably heard me talk about this bear before, and he has outsmarted me a number of times. Absolutely surreal being able to put this in and put this bear down only 3 days in. I've only ever done that once on the first day of hunting, but that wasn't until April 29th of 2020 on my first cinnamon bear ever. I put in a heck of a lot of time shooting my bow again before I went out this spring, and I had 100% confidence in all of my gear and its ability to get the job done on an animal of this caliber. I've been privileged enough to harvest a number of bears over the years, but I must admit, this one here has to be my most special one yet. After a really hard season in 2023, starting things off right this year with a lot of coyote hunting action, getting into the bear woods and getting it done on a beast like this that early, it really felt good, and it was the pick-me-up and win that I needed. A lot of hard work, positive mindset, heated vest, and a little bit of luck. We were able to get it done. And I guess it goes without saying, around here, we're always double down. Now this next bit is pretty awesome. I took my good buddy Nick Bazzilo and his little brother Ty out to one of my bays to see if we couldn't put them on some good bears. The main goal was to put his little brother Ty on his first big game animal ever, so let's see how that went.
We're out here at one of the baits, looking to shoot one of the big bears. There one at 6 o'clock just before we got here, and now we're just sitting and waiting for a big one to come.
So we've been here for about 4 hours now. Nothing on bait. Not yet. I mean, this is kind of the time of year, time of the spring that the bears kind of go into a lull for 2 weeks, and then things fire right back up again when the rut starts. So it's not really surprising that we haven't seen much today. Hopefully persistence meets opportunity. It's always nice when that happens.
That's the death row, buddy.
Yes!
You got him tied.
Yes!
You got him tied. Hey, Ty, buddy. Good job, bro.
All right, buddy.
You're the first one to touch him. Lift that nut.
Holy crap.
Atta boy, Ty. Dude, that's a stud.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
This was my second sit. First sit, Nick got a bear. So we came out today around 4-ish, and we came out, set some grease on the bait, went up the ladder, and was just sitting there, had a snack, and then probably around, I think it was 6 or 7, the collar bear came out, but I moved too quickly, and he spooked off. So then we just sat there a little longer, and probably an hour later, Nick looks to his left and there's a bear there. Didn't know which bear it was, so it started walking on the ridge, came around, came right in front. I drilled it. He ran probably 100, 150 yards, and then he died. This is fifth generation of shooting bears. Me, my brother, my dad, my Guido, and my great Guido. I just can't thank Ryan enough for taking his time to take me out and shoot a big bear.
Heck yeah, buddy.
And your big brother for sitting with you.
Now, I originally thought my bear hunting adventures were done after I stuck an arrow in that first giant earlier on in the spring. Little did I know that I was dead wrong. My Reconoco Canuck HD cell camera started sending me pictures of an absolute unit of a black bear from the same bait that Ty and Nick shot their bears at. So I did what any hardcore bear hunter would do, saddled up, got in the truck, and headed right back for the bear woods. All right, guys, so here I am with my second black bear of 2024 and the last tag I have for black bears here in Alberta. You know, I'm speechless about what happened last night. Wow, we had a blonde bear in front of me, a little cinnamon bear in front of me, and they were moving as a pair, and right at the tail end of the night, I'm talking several minutes till hunting's done for the day, the cinnamon bear is standing right underneath the pale, gets blown out of the woods, and then you see this big dark shadow moving in up the trail from behind the bait, and it's none other than this giant. You know, I'm absolutely privileged to have the opportunities that I do, and this goes without saying, but when you put in the work, when you grind, you go in earlier than the other guys, you tough it out, you know, this is what happens. And sometimes it doesn't happen. You know, 2021 was a year that just didn't pan out for me. Same with 2023 last year. I'd love to leave that year in the dust, but you learn from those years. You think out of the box, you try new things. And that's exactly what we did this year. And it ended up working in our favor significantly. We got 12-year-old Ty on his first big game animal ever, which was a solid black bear. We got my buddy Nick on a really good black bear as well. I was able to close the book with the bear that I call Bongo, and to end things, I was able to put down this absolutely magnificent Alberta black bear. I'm Ryan with Double Down Outdoors, and around here, we're always double down.